Holocaust Memories, Never Forget. A Gentile baby boomer's painful journey into the Shoah. Section 5, Deutschland Uber Alles, Part 29, from the 1st of January 1941 to the 31st of December 1942. Following a warning before the war by Albert Einstein and others that Germany was working on a way of using nuclear fission to create a dangerous new weapon, the United States began a highly sensitive program to unlock the secrets of nuclear energy with the aid of some of the world's most brilliant scientists, including J. Robert Oppenheimer, Enrico Fermi, Philip Haig Abelson, Arthur Holly Compton, and Ernest O. Lawrence. On the 9th of October 1941, President Roosevelt gave the go-ahead for a full government-funded research program to develop an atomic bomb. And after Pearl Harbor, the pace of their efforts picked up significantly. Although this program went through several name changes, it was officially called the Manhattan Project. On the 2nd of December 1942, Fermi and his team created the first nuclear chain reaction in a special bunker built beneath Stagg Field at the University of Chicago. The dedicated work of Fermi and his team of scientists ended the war in the Pacific and most likely saved the lives of over 1 million Allied forces and an even larger number of Japanese soldiers and civilians. Here are some more Holocaust-related events that took place in late 1942. Despite the fact that Rabbi Stephen Wise of the World Jewish Congress had published the Regner Cable on the 7th of December reporting Hitler's plan to annihilate the European Jewish community, State Department Representative G.R. Borden-Reams advised President Roosevelt to remain silent on the issue of the final solution. A large contingent of German troops converged on Poland's Parsuf forest and shot 1,000 or more Jewish partisans who had been attacking them. During this operation, 96 Poles in Białka who were suspected of helping the Jewish fighters were also killed, and 23 Christian Poles were burned alive for the same reason. On the 9th of December, the American magazine Christian Century claimed that Rabbi Wise was lying about the mass killing of Jews in Europe by the Germans, and went on to say that even if what he said was true, there was no logical purpose or reason to publicize this information. In England, John Cecil Sterndale Bennett, a British official, argued strongly against the Jewish Agency plan to transport some Bulgarian Jewish children to Palestine. At Auschwitz II-Birkenau, the first of numerous transports of German Jews arrived. In the town of Lutsk, Ukraine, a Christian woman warned the Jews that the Germans would soon be sending them all to a death camp, and this information caused those Jews to mount an armed resistance using a few pistols, knives, and iron bars. Sadly, they were quickly defeated and were all shot. On the 10th of December, the Polish government in exile published a document entitled The Mass Extermination of Jews in German-Occupied Poland, within which they described in detail the horrendous murder of Jews by the Nazis. The book was sent to the 26 nations who had signed the Declaration by United Nations, a document which committed the full resources of these nations to defeat Germany, Italy, Japan, and their Axis partners. On the 17th of December, the Allies published their first condemnation of German atrocities and vowed to punish those responsible. However, despite the apparent solidarity of the nations making this vow, several U.S. State Department officials sought to block their statement. In late December, Francis d'Arcy Osborne, the British ambassador to the Vatican, sent back a message to the Prime Minister stating that Pope Pius XII doesn't understand that his silence in regard to Germany's mass murder of Jews would be highly damning to the Holy See. Another source published a quote from the Pope himself: "Stories about the killing of Jews are exaggerations for the purpose of propaganda." In the town of Kruzynia, Poland, some Jewish laborers revolted with a few knives and fists, but all were killed. In the same place, 100 Jewish men selected for a labor battalion refused to board the truck and were all shot. Some Ukrainian guards locked 42 Jewish men inside a synagogue for several weeks, then marched them to the Rakhov forest and forced them to start digging graves. Before the graves were complete, these men revolted, and though most were killed, a few did escape. On the 22nd of December near Krakow, some Nazi soldiers and officers had gathered at a coffee shop when Jewish ZOB partisans, led by Aharon Lipskin, attacked and killed several of them, including some SS officers. 2 partisans were also killed, along with Liebskin. As a result, German troops mounted another operation to search and kill Jewish partisans in the Parsef forest. At Sobibor, 4 Jewish men escaped, but local Polish villagers gave them away and they were executed. In late December, SS Dr. Karl Klauberg began his sterilization experiments on women prisoners at Auschwitz. In Belorussia, the Germans executed 19 members of Tuvia Bielski's partisan group. Dachau concentration camp near Munich was outfitted with a gas chamber and crematorium. A concentration camp was created in Riga, Latvia. In the year 1942, scholars have estimated that more than 2 million Jews were sent to their deaths in various camps, but this may not include hundreds of thousands who were executed by the Einsatzgruppen and the ethnic militia groups all over Eastern Europe. This ends Section 5, Deutschland Uber Alles. We will continue with Section 6, Brutalste Gewalt, Brutal Violence, which covers both war and Holocaust-related events that took place in 1943, 1944, and up to May 1945, when Germany finally surrendered.